Good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 152. I'm Ron.
I'm Shane.
And again, welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 152. You can find us on YouTube. Slot Racer is the channel, 152 episodes, some special episodes, and some how-to videos. Facebook, Between the Lanes is the page. And race results from last weekend. So last weekend they raced East Coast Flexi Series was at Speed Zone, New Jersey, Mount Holly, New Jersey, for the Garden State race. And they raced F1 and GTP on the 2021 Israel Worlds track. And there's a picture of the track, which Shane can't see. And
I have seen it, though.
Yes, you have seen it. And then in the F1 race, Matt Bruce was the winner. Tom Adams was second. And Randy Corr was third. And then also in GTP, Matt Bruce was the winner, pulling off a sweep. Dale Granger second. Tom Adams was third. And Matt Bruce was the East Coast Flexi Series Stock Car and LMP champion for the 2019-2020 series. Then the Formula 2000 Wing Car Nats was at Chicagoland Raceway last weekend. Group F, Ron Hirschman was the winner. Dave Fugate was second. Terry Watson was third. It was quite the barn burner race. In Group 12, Gary Gaspard was the winner, Terry Watson second, and the local racer Pat DeSantis was third. That was a pretty fast, close race too at times. And then the Cobalt 12 was won by Bernie Schatz. Everyone was feeling the burn, as we were saying, feeling the burn. And second was Al Harley. And Dave Fugate was third. Group 27, Mike Iga was your winner. Ron Hirschman was second, and Al Harley was third. And then in Group 7, there was only four. Mike Iga was your winner. Al Harley second. Jim Rapati was third. In the no picks section, Penn Jersey raced at Dom's Raceway in New Jersey last weekend. Xfinity was won by Matt Bruce. Jimmy Roselli was second. Joe M. was third. And then in Cup, Matt Bruce was the winner again with John Mattis second and Joe M. third again. So congratulations to Matt. He had a big weekend last weekend, winning 4 races at 2 different raceways. So there you go. So now it's Shane's turn.
My turn.
Your turn. Your cue.
Sunday. I was like, I'm not racing. I was like, oh, yeah.
All right, so this weekend is Labor Day weekend. The only race I have on my calendar is East Coast Flexi Series. Starts their 2020-21 series at the Race Place in New Jersey. September 12th weekend, that's a pretty busy weekend. We got SCRRA at Buena Park Raceway on the flat track. We've got Mid-South at Archdale. We've got BRS at Mark's Model World. And the Ohio Oval Series is at Fast Alley. And I think that's the final race of their season last spring that should have finished. So this is kind of the postponement race. And then they'll start their series in October. So the weekend of the 19th, we got Retro Race at Speed Zone. The Flexi Palooza at Downriver in Detroit. I'm not 100% sure if it's on or off. Depends on what the state of Michigan does.
It should be now something sooner than later, though, right? I mean, that's
well, the governor was supposed to have a big announcement today at 2:30, and I didn't check to see what was announced in that today. So,
gotcha.
don't know what's going on there. The weekend of 26th of September. Well, okay, before the weekend of 26th of September. On September 23rd, the USRA Wing Car Nats starts at Chicagoland Raceway. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then also on that 26th weekend, Dave Gearing Memorial at Thaser Raceway, South Bend, Indiana. East Coast Flexi Series is at Fast Tracks, Valley, Pennsylvania. The Gator Retro, well, it's not actually the Gator Retro Racing region, but excuse me here, Southern Retro Rumble will be at Fast Eddie's in Pinellas Park, Florida. And you have the South Carolina Flat Track warm-up race at North Carolina. I don't know why I got South Carolina. I'm changing it.
Yeah.
North Carolina Flat Track Series warm-up race at Concord, the slot car track, Randy McNulty's place on the MTT. And that's a warm-up race, and the series starts in January, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So.
And I think it's, if I say it right, bi-monthly. So if we start in January, we'll take February off, we'll come back in March.
Right.
One day off, so on and so forth.
Yep. Okay, so that's all the races for that I know of coming up. Any more comes up in the next week or two, we'll add them. And this past week, we lost Debbie Watterson, who was, her and her husband Jim owned Buena Park Raceway in California. She passed away. This weekend, September 6th, which is, I guess, Sunday. No. Yeah.
Saturday. No, you're right. Sunday. Yeah, you're right.
September 6th, they will be having a celebration of life for Debbie at Buena Park Raceway. So I'm sure there'll be lots of local racers there. She will be greatly missed, and that's what she wanted, was a celebration of life at the raceway. So this Sunday, September 6th, Buena Park Raceway. Flexi Flats signups are now open for the Flexi Flats race, which will be held November 7th at the Washington Slot Car Club in Washington, Pennsylvania. And in other notes, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but a couple of guys started a drag racing podcast for slot cars. So it's called the Slot Car Drag Racing Podcast. They have 2 episodes up. You can get that podcast on Spotify. They were on another platform. I think they're on 2 platforms. They're trying to get on more, but I listened to the first. It was kind of like an introduction, 20 minutes long or so,
Right.
on the other format, and then to listen to the second one, which I did the other day, I listened to it on Spotify. So it's Casey and Wood, I believe, is who it's hosted by. If you're into drag racing, slot cars, you probably want to tune in. I think they're trying to do one every week. If not, it'll be bi-weekly. But it was cool. I mean, I'm not a big follower of drag racing. I mean, I know some of the players and, see stuff on Facebook, but they get into some details and stuff. The first 2 episodes, they really haven't yet, but it's coming. So they were talking about the $1 million race coming up. It's been moved to Tennessee. It was always out in Oklahoma. It's been moved. So they were talking about that. And it's going to be at Apex Hobbies. I don't know if it's still in January or not, but it's been moved. And so, yeah, check it out. The Slot Car Drag Racing Podcast on Spotify. And we also have a couple of giveaways tonight. We're going to give away 2 more of the JCR Justin Colvin Racing Pit Caddies. We'll do that here shortly. And I guess tonight's topic, I was talking to a guy earlier today, and he was asking me about controllers, and he has a DeFalco controller, and he's got the different chips, and He's like, well, what do the chips do? And I'm like, well, it changes the sensitivity range of your controller. And I said, it's like changing the ohms in a controller. But in a regular controller, like a Parma controller, you had a resistor in it. You can't, I mean, you can change the resistor, but you got to like unscrew it, unbolt it, unsolder it. Where, you know, so like basically, I mean, back in the old days, I'd have 2 or 3 different controllers. You know, I have 2 ohm and a 3 ohm and a 4 ohm, and maybe even had a 1 ohm or whatever for all the different classes I raced. And you know, people are always like, well, what's the different ohms do? Well, generally, the faster the motor, the lower the ohms you want. So like in group 7, we would run maybe a half ohm, 8/10 of an ohm, maybe a 1 ohm. You know, like 27s internationals, 1 ohm, 2 ohm maybe. Group 12's 2 ohm or a 1 ohm. It's all by feel and everything. I mean, what works for me on controller settings doesn't work for Shane, and might work for the next guy and may not work for anybody in the room. But, you know, his thing was they got a DeFalco, and he goes, I got some extra, I don't remember what he called them. I call them chips, but technically they're called networks. But I call them chips. He says, you know, I've got three of those. We'll just call them networks. He goes, I got 3 networks. I got like a 113, 78. And I don't know what the other one is. And I said, well, it's probably a 148 because all the DeFalcos come with a 148 in them.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that you can buy those extra networks and make your controller a lot more user-friendly. Because if you're running, like if you're running a Phoenix motor, for me, a 148 would just be way too slow. Like it would not be sensitive enough for me to run that type of motor. Okay, so, but I could change my network, and I would go lower, of course. Like for example, when I went down to Tennessee and ran the Phoenix motors a few weeks back, I was running my 78 chip, but then with a Hawk 7, I was running like a 136 chip because the 76 was way too sensitive or fast for that slower motor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I told this guy and what I tell everybody is basically I think and I feel you want to run your sensitivity knob like at 5, you know, adjust from 0 to 10.
Yeah, because I think every time I go out for practice, no matter what class it is, I always have the brake set at 5 and I have the sensitivity set at 5.
Okay. So I always have my sensitivity set at 5. And perfect example, again, would be last weekend with the wing cars. I had my 78 chip in, but I had my sensitivity all the way up on 10. Okay, right. So like I needed a lower chip, but I really didn't because at the most we were, you know, like most lanes, we were only blipping a couple times a lap. Now, if I would have had to drive the car every turn, then I would have wanted a faster chip and back my sensitivity down to have some adjustment for going from one lane to the next. So, you know, basically, the more adjustment you have with your controller, the better feel and everything you're going to have for the controller and the car on the track. It's going to just be more drivable, I guess, is the way to put it. So like if you don't, well, maybe it depends on your driving style, I guess. I never want a controller to feel mushy, like I'm waiting for the controller to catch up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more like I want my power on and I want it now. I want to be real punchy. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to be really quick.
A quick throttle response.
Yeah. And I want kind of a short power curve. You know what I'm saying? Like a faster power curve or through the power band. Some guys like it slower. Some guys like it in the middle. I mean, controllers is all about feeling stuff. So I'm not pushing DeFalco controllers. That's just what I use, and that's what I'm used to. And there's other controllers out there that have changeable chips. But then there's controllers like electronic type controllers like Third Eyes, Karstein's. There is no changeable chip. All the adjustment is done through a potentiometer for your sensitivity. And so I'm trying to think, Rudix, they don't have changeable chips. So the S&Ks, the DeFalcos, I think there's a couple other like European-made controllers that have changeable chips.
I think there's a couple out of Rogers, I think got one or two from South America.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, and then there's the Pro Parts from Brazil, and I think there's maybe one other from either Brazil or Argentina that has changeable chips or networks. And, for the basics, like the Falco, roughly $300. Chips or networks are $14.50 a piece, I think, unless they've changed price, but they're like $15. Get a couple of those, and you're going to be set if you're running a variety of classes. So, with different type motors and stuff. So that was the best way I could explain it to this guy who he's new, but he understood things better after I explained. Because I told him, I said, you know what, just take your son to the track and put a car on the track, put your 78 chip in there and set your sensitivity at 5, have him run the car, take the chip out, put the 113 chip in and run the car. And he's either going to say it's worse or it's better. And you can even take the 113 out and put the 148 in. And maybe that's better for him. But don't change the car, don't change the setting on the controller. But once you find out what network you want in there, now you can go, 5 numbers back or 5 numbers forward, and then kind of fine tune it once you figure out which network it feels the best, like in a neutral position, if you will. So I said I always try and run mine to where my sensitivity knob is at 5, so I have adjustment back or adjustment forward.
Right.
So, but I'll like, there's times I go to the track and I'll watch a guy run his car and I'm like, what chip you got in there? And a lot of them are like, what are you talking about? Well, that network, you can pull that out and it's got a number on it. What do you got in there? Well, I don't know, it came with a controller. Okay. Well, here, why don't you try this like 136? And they're like, oh, that's better. I like that. All right, try 113. It's like, eventually I wind up going up to the sales counter and buying a network or two, because they just didn't, I don't know. I mean, like, I haven't been to DeFalco's website, but I don't know if it's like clearly explained anywhere how that all works for people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's so simple you can do, because it's easy. It's just plug it in.
Right. I mean, like when I first got my 30-band DeFalco, when they first came out and it had the network in it, I remember I went to a retro race and like I couldn't drive my Can-Am car with it. Like it was mushy. I hated it. Even all the way up to 10, it was like it's not sensitive enough. So, but then I put on my Group 12 retro angle winder, and it's like, man, this is like perfectly matched.
Right.
And so I told Randy, I said, well, I'm going to use this for this class, and I'll use my other DeFalco for the 15-band for the Can-Am and the F1 class. So then at some point we realized, like, well, you can buy these different networks. So we buy a different network, and it's like, wow, I can run my controller with both cars now, or all 3, because I've got this adjustment. So, but there was nothing telling us that. So
yeah, I think you've discussed before too. If you're running multiple classes at a race and you have one controller, you can always take a picture with your phone of where your settings are. You may not get it exact, but you'll have notes.
Yes, yes, I do that a lot. So yeah, and then some controllers have chokes. Again, it depends on what you're racing, whether you need a choke or not. But
right.
It was funny because I was talking to a guy a few days ago, and he was telling me about they run breakouts racing at his track, and how there's a guy or two there that's got chokes on their controllers. And I said, well, my opinion, that's cheating, for breakout racing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely an advantage to be able to do that.
Right.
You know, like, okay, I'm going to go to this lane, so I need to put my choke on 2 foot, and I'll never break out, but I'll be right on the breakout. And then when I go to yellow, I need to like maybe put another foot of choke in it. That's, you know, not everybody can afford a controller with a choke, and I think that's, I don't still think that's fair, but whatever the raceway allows.
Right.
So there you have it. So just remember, the lower the number on ohms, the more sensitive or responsive the controller is. But it also depends on your motor. And usually the faster motors, less ohms or lower network numbers. And slower motors like a higher ohm or higher network number. So, and then I'll see guys run cars with a DeFalco they just turn it's got a 148 chip. They turn the sensitivity to 10 and brakes on full, and that's how they drive everything. And I don't know how they do get away with that, but
Oh yeah, some guys do that, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, right. So
I just raced with a guy, he ran no brakes.
Yep.
And he just turned the brakes all the way off. I'm like, how do you do that? And that's just how I run it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And he was a top 3 finisher, and I never understood. I'm like, how does he not run brakes? You know?
Exactly. So you got anything you want to add about controllers, Shane?
Not really. I mean, other than, you know, we've discussed before how, you know, I've switched back to running my old faithful controller.
Right.
Every controller has a different feel, and over the years, I can tell you how many controllers I've had and tried. So,
right.
But I'm like you. I primarily run a DeFalco. Every now and again, as Bobby calls it, old faithful, I'll break out the Ruddick.
Right.
So, getting one of our break it out, everyone's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's a Ruddick controller. Is that new?" It's like, no, it's not.
It's my
You just don't see them anymore, you know?
It's my dinosaur.
Yeah. So it's still a good controller. So
Right. And the main thing about a controller is just getting a controller that's comfortable.
Right, fits you.
Well, yeah, fits you, and you like the feel. Not so much the feel of the handle, but the feel of the sensitivity, the responsiveness, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, because I got one of the new DeFalco controllers, and like we talked before, it comes with a 148 chip, and I go out there and I'm like, this thing is way too sensitive for my liking.
Yep.
So I had to get a 180 chip. And
Right.
I was like, all right. But then, you know, the new controller's got traction control. So it's just like,
right.
I'm turning that knob. Finally, I'm just like, you know, I'm just going back to basics, going back to my old DeFalco controller, sensitivity, brake, 148 chip, let it ride.
Right.
You know?
Yep. All right, let's give away a couple of pit caddies. JCR, Justin Colvin Racing. So you need to contact Justin Colvin or go to the JCR Facebook page and send them your address and let them know you won, and I'll let them know you won. So when you contact them. So the first winner is Frankie Schaefer. Frankie Schaefer always complains he never wins something. There you go, Frankie.
Finally won something.
Frankie, you won a pit caddy from JCR. And the second winner will be, get one. There we go. Oh my God, I don't believe it. Shane Parent.
I won a pit caddy.
You won a pit caddy, Shane.
All right. I mean, my luck must be pretty good because it seems like at least once a year I win something.
So
I'll message him like, hey, bud, send me a pit caddy.
well, I thought he might give us a couple, you know, just for promoting, but, you know, I'm teasing. But you won one, so there you go.
All right. I'll give you feedback on it.
There you go. Feedback. That's what we need. So other than that, that's all I got. I don't know if we'll have a show next week or not because it's Labor Day weekend and nothing's really going on. There's one race, which we can always talk about the next week, but we might have a show next week. We'll just see how things go.
Yeah. See if anything pops off there in the
Right. Yep.
week or whatnot.
Yep. So,
My next race isn't until the 12th. That'll be the Mid-South race at Archdale.
right. Yep. So that's what's happening. If you're going racing this weekend, good luck, be safe, win, or at least do your best.
Fun.
It's holiday weekend, be safe, have fun, be don't hurt yourself or do anything stupid. If you're traveling, be careful. Well, sometimes there's fireworks and stuff involved and stuff like that.
I think fireworks anymore is kind of like a yearly thing.
Yeah, or here, hold my beer, watch me do this, and
Yeah,
it's
that never ends well.
no. So everyone enjoy their 3-day weekend. We will see you soon, and we are out of here.